I'm going to make a motion to seal the non-public minutes.
Will second that motion?
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. All right. Would somebody like to read the pertinent parts of this?
Sorry, I'm posting every group.
Okay, let's take the first claim in here is that I said things that I didn't, so that's out. I don't think that's even appropriate. It's best hearsay and not relevant, as far as I'm concerned.
How do you know what you're talking about?
You guys,
Is there a copy we can look at, or are we allowed to?
yeah, there is.
Thank you. And then, which comments?
I thought you weren't gonna have it back and
Oh, I
forth.
can't read it enough messes.
This isn't a back and forth, they just,
Yeah.
they look confused and I was just trying to help them out.
Thank you.
We're not taking input.
Right, I just didn't
That was
understand
not
your
it.
comment.
This is for the benefit of the board. It is on- This email is based on a discussion between ZBA Chairman Obert and the Select Board Chairman TJ Chase. And there was, like I said, this is third party hearsay and it doesn't have any place here. Because I know what was said, and this is not what was said. So the point of this is that, I guess, let's see. Claim is being made that an official email from the clerk directed by the chairman to the appellants, which is not the case, is a clear signal that their rights were being preserved by a process. Don't know what that means. This should be sufficient for a rehearing to be granted, perhaps with a modified abutters list. And the next line is a threat to go to court. Guys, any comments on that? I mean, it's, they're asking us to rescind the prior decision with or without a hearing, which I'm not sure what that means. cause there was, I'm like confused on some of this stuff. Grant the rehearing. And grant other such relief as may be just and equitable. Does anybody see any claim that we acted improperly?
I couldn't hear what you said.
I said, is there anything on here that makes a claim that we acted improperly? And if you remember, we discussed that the abutter list was incomplete even if all the trailer park occupants had been notified.
Right, we came up with what, 4 or 5 that were outside the park that didn't get notified?
Well, the point isn't notification, the point is on the abutter list. Okay, so the abutter list was incomplete. Even if you go with whether or not the trailer park needed to be notified. Okay, so
The list was incomplete, I don't see any new information here that would change any position.
And I think that the application instructions clearly state it's the responsibility of the applicant for the application. All the information needed to find and list the butters is public.
And I guess it doesn't matter for tonight's hearing.
Okay.
Anybody wanna make a motion or further discussion?
What's the appropriate verbiage in this situation since we're not moving forward?
To not grant a rehearing. Or to not reverse our decision, basically.
Is that, they're not reverse the previously made decision, or?
Yeah, you can't really call it a rehearing because we never actually had a hearing.
Right. I don't wanna do it wrong though, because then it's not like, we didn't technically hear it, we denied the application, right?
Yeah, we didn't accept that basically the application, we said the application was incomplete.
It's just basically motion to not overturn our decision, would that be?
I think so. You think so?
If that's what the motion you wanna make.
Yeah. So I make the motion to not overturn the decision the board has already made.
We need a second. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Further discussion on the motion itself? Okay. Just looking like you're gonna say something.
Yeah, well,
So what, you made a motion that,
We're not going to overturn our decision that we've already made.
That's what's on the table.
I'll second it.
And we already got a second. This is
Oh, I
just
didn't hear that either.
discussion.
You guys need to
This
give
is
me
the discussion
earplugs
part.
to your things. So now what?
It's the discussion phase.
If there's any discussion on the motion, we need to do it. And if there isn't any, then we can vote.
I think I made it clear earlier when I said that I think the rules have to be played by, and if there are mistakes, administratively or not administratively, but as a submittal, you know, the rules are clear with what we are left with. And we may not like it, but it is what it is. You know, I mean, I'm sure that the applicant didn't come in here and go through all of this so that he could miss abutters. I don't think it was on purpose, but it doesn't matter. They were missed. That's all I have to say about it.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote nay.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain. What do we got? We got 3. Okay, so I don't need to cast a vote.
Where's the four?
Huh?
The four?
Okay, I'm in favor. Just to make it sure. Okay. That is it.
I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 12th
Okay.
as submitted.
Second?
We got a second from Matt.
4 minutes.
Okay, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'm not still reading. Okay. All right, motion passes. Do we have anything else?
There you go, that's the one.
Okay. All right, we'll open up for public comment right now. Anybody has anything?
This wasn't about butters. This was about an email that somebody had the clerk send to me saying that we'd move forward with the abutters list after a prior conversation about it. And you, Mr. Chairman, and TJ Chassie had a conversation the night before in this building after 5 p.m. about that very thing, and you have not acknowledged that yet. Mr. Chassie's acknowledged it, and another selectman's acknowledged it, but you have not. So it would be great if somebody here would explain why she sent that email. Because I know she didn't just do it on her own, but you guys are putting her in that position right now. She's gonna have to answer for that at some point.
So the question was, on that, if the whole trailer park needed to be included or not.
No, question is,
That was the question.
whether the abutters list was sufficient.
No,
Yeah.
that was not, that was never the question.
The email says it in it.
It does not. It says that we will accept the application as is,
That's not what,
which is not,
can you hand that to me, sorry?
You have it there.
We'll just read the email on the
Yep.
record now.
Yep. I'm giving-
So,
Email from Elizabeth Watson. Thank you for the update. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you for the update. No problem. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for such a delayed response. This is from Elizabeth, the clerk. I was trying to get a solid answer regarding abutters. Please disregard my last request. We will go forward with the current list of abutters. The public hearing is still scheduled for November 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Troy Town Hall. I apologize again for the delay and the confusion. Elizabeth, who authorized that email?
but
She didn't.
I did.
Someone did.
I-
So she did it on her own.
No, like I said, I authorized her to write that because the question posed to me was, which set of, do we include the trailer park, all the trailer park residents or not? The reason why we told her to move forward with that is because we are not allowed to help with any of the other stuff. The reason the trailer park was left out is because of other projects that went forward. It clearly states in the law that it's anyone who, it's the land, it's not the building on the land. We all agree with that for the most part. So in the trailer park, if we said, yes, you have to do the whole trailer park, that would have been another however many units are in the trailer park needed to be added. That was not what was, anything was missed. So, according to what I was posed as a question, I told her, yes, that is perfectly right. Because we are not gonna include all of the trailers because then we have other things that have gone on in this town that needed to have every one of those redone again. Because of the fact that we did not include every trailer in the trailer park. It is not the person who owns the building, it is the land with what I've read in the RSAs for abutters.
And the original discussion was had that there were errors that had nothing to do with the trailer park. And that's why it was deemed incomplete.
What were those errors? Because I only remember the trailer park.
You weren't listening because I said it multiple times
Could you maybe explain?
during the hearing. There were actual real abutters that were missed.
Who?
How many?
Technically 5.
And you can tell them now because it's,
Okay.
I mean, it's
The
over.
first thing, the abutter list should have the people that are filing the appeal because they were abutters.
Doesn't have to.
Yes.
No.
It doesn't
Reasonably-
say, it does not say on there abutters to be notified. It says abutters. Okay.
Reasonably
The
expected
town of
to be
Troy,
notified.
the town, it doesn't say that anywhere in the application, I don't think. Let's look. It just says a list of abutters. Okay. There are 2 properties owned by the town of Troy that were not on the abutter list.
The town of Troy was the party.
You're looking at technicalities there.
I'm not looking at I've been doing the butters list for 30 years.
Well, then, nobody ever called you on it. I mean, lots of things happen that nobody complains about and that they slide through.
That's why we're here.
This didn't happen.
Those days are over.
So,
And there's one other one.
I think aside from whatever butters were missed, you said you approved this email,
Correct.
and this email is the reason why it was not in the mind of the applicant to get any more butters.
Because as I said, the one thing that was posed
Well,
to me
is
was
that, then that
trailer
should have been
park
put
whole
in, that should have
or
been
not?
put in the email then. Specifics about the
It's
trailer
not,
park
it's not
itself.
any town employee's job or requirement to help someone fill out the form and look at what abutters are. All of the maps are available online, they're available in here.
Regardless of that, you can't mislead an applicant and then deny them afterwards.
Correct.
Nice.
Thank you.
No one was misled.
Oh,
Yes, they
Come on.
were.
So if they wanna put one abutter on there
By
when there's
this-
40,
By this email alone, it's stating you have everything you're gonna need to go forward.
Why would you schedule a hearing if the application wasn't complete?
Because normally we don't get into that. You drop an application.
That's not
you schedule
normal.
a hearing.
That's not normal.
Yes, it is.
Name another community that does that. Name one. Keene doesn't.
Why are you acting like?
Swansea
this is,
doesn't.
like, so
Winchester
ridiculous.
doesn't.
You're
I've been to
like
all of them.
grabbing for straws to come up with reasons to do, I mean, it's crazy.
It's your meeting, Steve. This is
Yeah.
your meeting.
Oh,
Well,
he's
it's
done
not
it.
your meeting, and the
Yeah,
last
exactly,
time when
Ben.
this meeting happened, your attorney got to talk,
What else is
and I did not, and my name is actually on this.
You mean addresses?
You have every right to bring an attorney with you if you feel you need
What else
to.
was missing? Bring it up.
Okay.
Okay, and
We
I
didn't even get
understand
to
that.
speak at
But
the
we
last
weren't even able
meeting.
to speak.
Everybody
His
else
attorney
did,
and
no
him.
one against
We
us,
want to be allowed to be heard,
selectmen,
that's
No one
it.
was denied speech.
That,
It was, the meeting was done because you decided not to hear it after his attorney talked for, I don't know, like a half an hour. Very little were we allowed to say. There was no time for that. It was literally his attorney and him. And every
But-
meeting I've
but since-
attended
but
since,
since we
it's
decided-
been running the meeting from here. And that's not fair. There are other people in this town besides the drugs.
If I go to the DMV and I drop off an application, they don't let me leave until I have it complete.
We can't, but we cannot.
There's a law that says you
Oh,
can't
that's
help.
not true. It's
because-
part of the
because then we
review
can be-
process in every
Then we can be held
community.
responsible if there's any errors.
You are responsible if there are errors. You are
For
legally
you filling out an
responsible.
application, we're
Yes,
responsible for
you
your
are
errors.
responsible. Yes,
I-
you'll find out. You are responsible. Once you say that application's complete, you own it. Watch.
Again, it was, you never said it was complete, it said it would go forward, that's all, that's not, it was complete.
You scheduled
There
a
was-
hearing. That's an accepted application is complete, or else you wouldn't schedule a hearing.
I think everyone's
Okay,
grabbing
there's a
technicalities.
difference, I think we've been here before, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah.
There's a difference between a complete application and a correct application. Where did we run into that? Just, remember they said, oh, it was with the planning board, where they said that the application was complete. I think it was on your project, as a matter of fact.
planning board, we have to accept, we usually have a meeting to accept the application as complete
Right,
and then move into a hearing.
and we don't normally do that.
Correct. The VDA
Right.
not do that. So
We don't
Planning board.
approve the application. We have the hearing, and if nobody complains about the application, we go forward. In this case, somebody made
Well, the mistake
an
was-
appeal
was in
that
the
the
email.
application was wrong.
I'd like to agree with this gentleman on the board that it was a very misleading email.
And the reason why I gave a nay vote is because the response from the clerk gave the impression that everything was ready to go forward with the scheduled November 12th at 6 p.m. Anything before then is almost null and void. Saying that we can't mess with or help with the application
Yeah,
is.
you come up with any other reason you want, that was clearly misleading. That's the issue that we're
Well,
discussing.
that won't happen again because no advice will come out of the select board's office on applications.
That's great going forward, but it doesn't address this issue.
Decisions are getting made.
Yeah, this decision's been made, we just try to follow the law on things, and people aren't happy, then somebody's always not happy. Especially in building permit things, they never turn out well.
In any case, no matter which way this went, it's going to Superior Court. Because if the board would have sided with you guys, I know the drugs would have gone to Superior Court. Am I correct in assuming that, Ben?
yeah. Absolutely.
And if we would have sided with the drugs, you guys would have went to Superior Court.
This town's gonna have its
Most
own
likely.
thing at Superior Court before we're done.
One way or another, it was going to Superior Court. Now, leave it up to the judge to determine if this email is what it is or what it's not. It's up in the air. And I will go on stand, if need be, and say, I was asked, should it include all of the trailers or just the park? Because that's exactly how it was worded to me. Should it include it? And then I asked, so what did we do with prior, Abby, please correct me if I'm wrong, I asked you what we did with prior boards. And it was the same answer that I basically gave, was we do the same for each one. And on the previous ones, we only included the owner of the land,
So
because that's what it is.
I'm confused. Are you saying the issue behind the misleading email was a miscommunication between yourself and the clerk who sent the email?
I mean, I could read this two different ways, and it really could be read in different ways. When it was posed to me, I was asked about should every single occupant of the trailer park be notified, or just the owner of the property. So again, that's how it was posed to me.
Which is not really the issue.
So the folks who live in the trailer park are considered abutters?
No, I don't consider them abutters. They don't own the property. They own the building, but they don't own the actual property. And if you read the RSA 672(3) abutter, it says the land, not the building.
It's actually more specific than that.
Yeah, I was paraphrasing.
If the permit that was appealed was on an abutting property to the trailer park, they would all have to be notified, according to the law. If it's the subject property is the trailer park, they do not have to be notified. That's what that actually says.
So it's again another one of those
Same thing.
Yeah,
But
it splits
NHMA
hairs.
has put that out.
Yeah, so it's one of those ones that it could split hairs on how you read it as well.
So how did you guys determine that there were 5 abutters left off?
Would you like to see the map?
We looked at the tax.
Like how did, well,
They looked at the tax map.
Well,
When, for the application.
Mr. Drug's lawyer looked at the tax map and made the. I opened up for pre-hearing motions and they came in and said the application's not correct.
Did you research it to find out whether it was or not?
It came up in this discussion on there that there were town properties there and they weren't on the list.
There's a supporting packet that the ZBA has that
Yes.
can be handed out to this entire group to show you exactly what, and they were, the ZBA was willing to overlook the homes within the park as a, whatever, as TJ looked at it the same way prior to.
Yeah.
So that's not even the point. The point is that the other abutters that would normally be noticed in a normal situation weren't all noticed.
The map was split between 3 different maps. So that book up there that's about 4 feet has all the maps in town in it. Some of them are like this, and you have to go to a whole separate map to see those abutters on that map. It looks as though, and it's hard to understand what was in the mind of someone, but some of the abutters on different maps were noticed, while next door neighbors weren't. I don't understand it, but and maybe that's where the confusion came in, was trying to work between 3 separate maps. I don't know.
So who would you go to say, is this a correct abutters list, and be able to trust that their answer is real? It's not fair when you think you're doing the right thing,
So-
you're following all the steps, and you go to.
That's one of the hard things, because it says in the thing that we're not supposed to help. We're not supposed to help.
Can you tell me?
But
So
you
is
can
that
go
why
to a
she can't give me
lawyer.
a site plan for the?
Oh, she can't give you a site plan because there's no site plan. In this town hall, there's no site plan. Because we've already looked for it, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not a subject for this board, but there is no site plan in this hall. We don't have it.
For the mobile
Oh,
home
but there
park?
is one,
The
we
whole
just don't
park?
have it in this building.
Correct.
There's nothing in the town hall that reflects anything?
I don't know what they have, but
It's gone. What
there's
we
no
had is
site plan.
gone.
Yeah.
Gone, what do you mean?
Obtain another
Just
one.
disappeared.
But that wouldn't necessarily
mean?
be, show an accurate list of butters.
Well, still, it might
Well,
give
it's
us-
just that I wanna know going forward. Look, I'm not a person that likes conflict, I don't wanna be here. I
Is
went
that on
directly to
file
Mr.
with
Drug
the-
to ask a very honest, straight up question.
Should
If
be.
he had been honest
If
with
it
me,
was-
I wouldn't
okay.
be here.
I
But
can't
now
wait
I
to
can't
provide the email
trust.
that she's referring to. I
I'm
can't wait.
happy to
I
harass
can't wait.
myself. I've got it right on my phone.
Yeah.
You literally
Read
told
it
me
off.
you weren't cutting the tree line, and then 11 days later, the trees were gone. And then at the last meeting, zoning meeting, you said no, the tree line was not gone. It still baffles me how you think there's a tree line.
But that's,
Either way, if I could go directly and say, okay, so there's gonna be one here or here, and just, all I wanted to do was understand what's going on. It's been 3 years of,
So you might be able, if you wanna get one, and if Mr. Drug does not wanna provide one, you
right,
can try and ask the county if they have it.
okay,
At the
that's
registry of
what I'm
deeds.
asking, is
That
where
would be the
can I?
next place to go, because we do not have one in this town hall. We had one, it was in this room, right here, and it's not the first thing or the last thing, it's probably gonna go missing from this town hall. That's why we have put in some measures, but they're not 100% perfect. Because
Okay,
we
that's
do
helpful.
Use cameras to be.
Yes, but they don't always catch everything, and there's been a lot of people in and out of this building that have used this room, that we close the doors and they use the room, we don't know, you know.
What are we
Have you
insinuating?
attempted to get, I'm
What
sorry,
What are we insinuating?
But the map isn't here.
Yeah, I know.
There's
It's a
no
statement,
insinuation
the
there,
map
that
is
map's not
missing.
here, that's
Okay.
all I'm
You can
saying.
But you're
leave
talking
anything
about
you want.
cameras and you're talking about people being here unattended. So what are you insinuating?
Well, someone had to
Oh,
take the
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 map.
map is
right?
gone, period, the map is gone,
Somebody-
and I'm
Well,
looking
where
for a
was-
reason
was
to
there a map
locate
here
where the
originally?
map
Yes,
was
there
and how
was.
it got away.
There was.
Yes.
When? That you laid eyes on?
Yes, you and your brother have also said it on one of our recordings that the town has a copy of it. It's not here though.
I do. I would love to hear that recording because you either misheard me or because I know of no site plan for
There
the,
would
for the
have to have
park.
been one for the park here in town hall, because otherwise, how would you build the park?
That would make the permits.
It was done. It was done in the like
Seventies,
freaking
early
60s or
70s,
70s.
started
Yeah.
We have things back on, older than
No,
that.
I know,
here.
but who
And
knows
they-
what was
it was
required
here.
back then?
Cause
We didn't
everyone
have a
said
lot
it
of
was
zoning.
here, so, but that's a whole other thing, we're not dealing with that tonight. Like I
Yes.
said, that would be going, if you wanted to see, check with the registry of deeds, if they don't have it, you can always ask Mr. Drug if he would provide it for you.
Yeah, we own 2 parks. The public service has a plan for the lower park when they did all the underground services for that. Is that what we're referring to?
I'm guessing they're referring to, they wanna, what your plan is.
I just wanted, like when I emailed you, what is the plan for the park? I wanna believe that what you
You're-
emailed is the plan for the park.
The email that I sent you was absolutely 100% honest and absolutely not required of me to send back to you.
I know
didn't have
that,
to
that's why I
respond to
thought, I believed you.
That ended
I was
with
like,
a Merry
great.
That ended with a Merry Christmas
Same.
and you said there's a few trees that are left along the road. Would you be willing to keep those? And I did. And I absolutely did those. You said there's a few remaining trees left along the road, and you asked if I would keep them, and I did. I don't have to keep those trees.
Well, no,
I
you
didn't have to
don't.
respond to
okay.
your email.
All
You're
right.
not allowed to cut any of the trees without an intent to cut.
I have an intent to cut you, lying piece of
We're done.
shit.
Whoa,
What the heck?
okay,
Hold on.
enough,
Now you're out of
I'm
line.
stepping in on this, everyone needs to stop talking.
This
Period.
is Steve's meeting.
Just,
Wow.
Basi-
You owe her an
basically-
apology.
I didn't talk to her. I was talking to this asshole right
You
here.
owe him an
Okay.
I don't owe
apology.
him an apology at all.
Can we be civil?
we're done.
No.
Can we be civil?
Wow,
Out.
you're a child.
Take it outside.
Exactly.
This has gone beyond what public comment is.
Can I, you had offered to give us a document, I think you said that, because we were asking what abutters are missing, and then you said you have something, can we have a copy of that?
You can have a list of butters, it's past the time frame. I don't see any problems, but Steve, it is your meeting, if you wanna give it, you can.
I mean, does it matter at this point, I guess, cause
It apparently doesn't, I don't know. I don't
No, it
know.
doesn't matter. Well,
It's a shame it wasn't our fault, we're the ones that
Yeah, we
get
didn't-
punished.
That's my issue, is it wasn't our fault, and we are the ones that suffer for that. But the permit isn't legal in the first place, and that's my real issue.
but that's for tomorrow's meeting, right?
That's for the selectmen too.
Yeah.
but it's beyond,
Yes, it is.
it's beyond the time to talk about that.
About the illegal permit, or you mean about the abutters?
The problem is, Stephen, you're being lied to, and everyone's so afraid of being sued on every single issue in this town. That we're just opening up for more lawsuits, there's no transparency, and the town is suffering in multiple ways, over and over, because everyone's afraid. And that's too bad. I want this town to succeed. I want his park to be great. I live across the street from it. It doesn't have to be like this. But there's all of these games being played. I should be able to call the town hall and say, listen, I think I have the right resident, and just, I don't know, maybe it's just my nature. I don't want to fight with anyone.
Well, and on your question, that we would have to, that would be a siding with one side or the other. The town would be basically, if we help you fill out your abutter list, we would be siding with you.
But it's the same way you guys will help him, like, hey, you gotta make sure you get this, whatever, to do your thing.
Different
pay
things,
this fee.
because this is, when you come in as to file a ZBA, you're questioning the administrative decision. So at that point, you become client A, they become client B. At that point, if we help you, we have to help them. If we don't help them, that's cause for in Superior Court to have the case dismissed or even pushed forward and flipped again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said, there's been ZBA meetings in this town where literally the case, one side won, but both sides questioned it and sued in Superior Court. Even though one side won, that person still sued because they didn't get exactly what they wanted.
Does that cost us, the taxpayers, money?
It's gonna cost, everything costs the taxpayers money. And that's one of the hard things. And I'm trying to be as transparent as I said. I already told you guys that I was the one who told her to send that list because the question posed to me was, does it include the trailer park
Yeah, I got
and
that.
all that?
Yeah, that makes
And
sense what you said.
It's a hard one. It really is a hard one but I went off of what we did with the planning board, what we did with some of the other boards. We included just the landowner. We didn't include every single one of those people because then again, it's like you said, you got that whole line. Is it just the abutters of just that line? Who would be the abutters? Or is it everybody in the park? Because the park is technically one thing. It's
One
just
lot.
subdivided.
Yeah, but that's not what the issue, the issue is the 5 abutters, which are not anybody in the park, because your decision was that the park is one entity and it's the landowner, so that's.
Exactly right.
So the 5 abutters, if that email had been sent by the clerk, and you knew that there was 5 abutters missing, could they have had time to get the 5 abutters on this, or was it already a done deal?
But we didn't,
You didn't know the 5 abutters were missing?
we didn't know until we got here to start just before starting the hearing, that there was a problem.
So,
Because the assumption is that applications are what they are.
and there's no chance to say we're missing
No,
5 people?
It became his attorney, he did this whole spiel, and
If
they said, we're not here.
it had been,
You guys see
So-
though how it seems like, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a newbie to the town, but it seems like the drugs, like, tell you guys, some of you what to do and you do it.
That does not happen.
I see it happening all the time.
Not to this board. If they bring in information, we listen to them. If we agree with the information, we agree with it. You bring in information, we listen to you. If we agree with yours, we make
send
our
an
But
own
we
email
were
that says we
equally
agree.
blindsided by that, had no idea and no way to respond because we
We
had
were a
no
little
idea the list was
blindsided
wrong,
by
we
it,
were told it was
so-
right.
I have this
It was
question.
true.
Yeah.
I'll pose it this way.
Mhm.
So if we help you, Evie has to do more work.
Mhm.
She has to put off her other parts of her job. If she sits there and she has to go through this whole butter list and find every butters. But wait, now listen, that's costing you taxpayers money even more, again. But then on top of that, it takes her from her duties that she already has. Currently, we only have 2 people in that office besides the town administrator. Evie's job, what all do you deal with? You deal with water and sewer, you deal with most of the boards,
Land use.
land use
Everything
boards,
land use.
and then the rest of her job, which is, she's gonna have to type these minutes up, she's gotta do this, she's gotta do that, she's gotta do all these other things. And if she helps you or anyone else, then again, that's the town is siding with them. That means if the person over here that you're going against on the ZBA decision, 123 Happy Street, I'm using Dick's favorite address in town, 123 Happy Street, that person, we have to help them if they have a question as well.
Right, so if Mr. Drug came in and said, listen, I wanna do this, I know I need to notify abutters, is this abutters list correct? And then she said, yep, we'll go forward with it, the list is correct. I'm not mad that
that's
she
the list.
helped
He,
him.
he uses a lawyer for most of the stuff.
Well, right, that must be nice, but not all of
I
us
know.
can afford to bring a lawyer to every
But,
meeting.
and that's where you
That's
there
what
But
I
I'm
rely
not
on you
sad.
guys.
there are other people who could help you. It's just, she
Who?
can't.
Who can then? That, I guess, is the crux of it. Who in town do we have access to as taxpayers that will give us an honest answer, and we won't be like putting them in a weird position of like making them pick a side or whatever. I'm not
That's,
trying to do
There
that. I
isn't
want a
anyone
person.
for that. What you
There's
could-
no like town administrator that
you can
that's
talk to
their
the
job.
town administrator and ask him, and you could run the list. As long as you don't say you're submitting this to us, you can't submit this and say, is this all the abutters for this property? What you can do is take that list and say, hey, Jeremy, is this all the abutters for this property? Don't say why. Then he can do the research. But asking it in the middle of the hearing or submitting the paperwork is where it's the gray line where we can't side with any side.
But why can't she, it seems like you guys misled with your email. Why didn't she get a chance to like respond to get the other abutters?
Well, that's what I was looking for tonight, but apparently that didn't get to happen.
Well,
I didn't.
That's what
get
I
to
would, yeah, because you, it's like you're punishing her for a mistake that,
I'm not punishing Abby at all.
No.
Abby did
Her,
her
she
job.
was me. She
I'm
was
talking
us,
about her.
Fran.
I'm not punishing you at all. The problem is, if we helped you,
no, I know,
again,
we're saying the same thing over and over.
that's exactly what it comes down to, is if we helped you guys, we would have to help
But
them.
why can't you guys
already helped them.
revisit the hearing by letting her get
We've
the
been
other
helping
5
them all along.
abutters?
Actually, she did help you because she had to look up all the abutters'
Well, that's their
addresses
part.
and figure the mailing addresses out, which should have been on the form.
That was
Well,
one
then
I
maybe it's
What do you
a,
pay for the
but if you,
abutters?
oh my
Why do
god,
you pay for the abutters then?
why can't she get the other 5 abutters and you have another hearing?
We're past the
There's a 30-day window.
30-day
So
window.
once we receive an application from the outset, the very first thing we get, we have a certain number of days to act on it, to schedule it, to notify everybody, all that administrative piece. Then we have the hearing. Then, and this is our state statute, you have another 30 days to appeal any administrative decision from any board in the town, of any town.
Yes.
I have a question. So I understand that you can't say, alright, we're gonna fill this in for you. Has this board ever handed back an application, anyone that said this is incomplete, it needs more?
Since I've been in town, no. That I know of, no.
I don't think, has that come up?
Not my time.
What I understood, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what I heard tonight was that if I submit an application and you accept it, and then you schedule a hearing and you vote on it, and if nobody says this is wrong, like you said, it goes through. But it only doesn't go through if somebody's there to say this is wrong.
And
That's
they
what
have-
I heard tonight,
And
please correct
they
me if
have
I'm
to
wrong.
they have to have the proof to prove that's wrong. They
No,
can't
he-
just say it's
no, no.
wrong.
Right, no, I'm saying, they have to have proof.
Right.
But if nobody comes forward to say this is incorrect,
It
then
moves
it just
forward,
goes through.
and that's how it goes. It just
So
moves
we don't
forward,
ever-
and then.
But-
Back in.
But
if-
that's
didn't
where
work.
it comes into the fact of the matter is
It wasn't on.
it's side A versus side B, right? And this is kind of like what I was saying. There was the people who side A won, side B lost. They both went to the Superior Court anyways. They
Right.
both fought it.
The problem you would run into is that if we did it and the list was wrong, that's appealable.
Right.
Okay, if within the 30 days, if somebody looked at it and said, oh, they're a butter.
Only by the party that was aggrieved.
Yes, well, an abutter or an aggrieved party, or.
So who is the aggrieved party who could appeal? And by the way, your map 19 shows lot 5 as being on Cranberry. Let me get this exactly right for you.
Cranberry Hill.
Cranberry Hill Road. Is Cranberry Hill Road on Dort, north of
No,
Dort
it's
Street?
up
Other
here.
side of the road.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Why are you looking at
19.5 is in a butter. Well, 19.5, I believe is town property. But according to your assessor, it's Cranberry Hill Road, 19.5, Jeffrey Talamini. That is why that wasn't listed.
19? What was map were you on?
19.5.
19.5 wouldn't have been one of the ones.
No.
Which one? Let's be clear here. What?
So
abutters-
11.2 is
Hang on.
Town of Troy.
Okay, Town of Troy was only notified. Certainly was present at the hearing. But go ahead.
It still wasn't on your butter
It
list.
doesn't have to be as long as they're
Well, it
present.
says, say you.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
maybe. Who else?
I mean, show
Who else?
me
That's
a
fine.
court,
That's
show me a
fine.
court case that says, it
Who
says
else?
what you're
Keep
saying,
going.
and
Who
we can
else?
talk about it, but,
Go ahead. Who
Okay.
else besides the town?
11.2A, another Town of Troy.
Okay.
Technically, 12.15F isn't a butter and wasn't on the abutter list, even though
That's- he's
it
sitting here.
should have been on
Okay.
here, but that's, and 12.1,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
And
Right.
18.193.
I got one.
It's true, I did get certified, because I was like, why did I see?
So other than the town of Troy and the two complainants, there's only
18.
one.
I
Should
actually
have been
was
on here.
served.
18 doesn't abut
Do the
3.
people that are that are filing the paperwork have to be,
11-3.
They're still butters.
It doesn't abut.
oh, so you
We
guys
were,
served
we
each
were
other?
though, we were. I signed it certified mail. The guy, post
Doesn't
office
abut.
guy came right up to me right when I was getting
Look at
my
the
mail.
map.
And so did he.
Doesn't
So
abut.
it would only be the
So
town
there's
then.
two
It's
butters.
offset.
I got
So-
my letter.
So there's not 5 abutters then?
There's 3 and it's the town.
Right,
The
that's
town
what I'm
is the
saying.
only
But
one who
you-
wasn't notified.
But you're a butter too.
I was notified though, Steve. I
You were
signed.
notified because you made the application. You got notified because of that, not because you were in a butter, you weren't on the abutter list.
That's,
You couldn't complain.
She took it upon herself.
Oh, she fixed that for you, but she didn't fix everything. So,
okay.
she did try to help you, but you can't.
I'm not, I have no
Wait, so
issue with
then the-
Elizabeth.
so
I
that's
think
only
the
the town?
policy is messed up.
Hmm?
It's
Is it
only
only
the
the
town
town?
wasn't notified.
But-
It's the,
No, and there was one other one, this 18.193.
who is that?
It says, in my research, it says Graymark.
18.193 is not in a butter. They're close, but they're not in a butter.
Does it touch the property?
No.
It does on this map.
You get that note from the town website?
And Matt can see it. He's looking at it.
There's one.
Regardless.
It only takes one.
Town hall
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, exactly. But how do you notify someone of the town?
So the argument is that the town is.
I think,
in a butter.
I used to do that job, and I used to do all of this work for about 26 years. And there was a time when a town could offer assistance to people like that, with help with the abutters list
This
and
is all.
that
this
kind
is
of
the
thing.
file.
But what's been happening in court cases is that you get snapped on both ends, because if you miss one, as you're advising them that this is the correct way to do it, then you're in trouble.
Right, no, I had,
So,
And I think that's the reason why
Mhm.
towns had had to say,
not
Okay,
including
okay.
yourselves, there would have been 2, possibly 3. Now, me personally, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not anything legal or special, but the one on 18 would be a fightable offense. That one it's, as Eric said, it doesn't look like it touches, but again, in the eyes of Joe Blow from Kokomo lawyer, it touches. Now, if you'd like to see what I'm talking about, you can step up and look at the giant map here.
What are the other ones, TJ, just so we're all
The
clear?
2 town ones, which
Yeah,
is
Fine.
2A and 2.
12,158, well, 12,50
And then
now.
your guys' own properties. So the one that is a little confusing, which like I said is the meh one,
18.
would be 18, which is this is map 18, and here's the property.
Wait, so they're saying,
Basement,
are
right,
they still
so we
saying
go to
that you're
map
not
18,
notified?
You see how it comes across?
That one.
We go
Oh,
over here,
it's
so
not
it's
map
18.
Sort of a diagonal.
Town.
One, what is it?
It's in the bottom. Both of you butters.
This map is oriented differently.
Right, what's the map? 193. This one. So
oh, I know.
it was like this. over
It's
here.
offset.
So it's one of those ones, that's like one of the ones I said, I could say, okay, if you missed that, I don't know.
I know,
But there were, the fact that the properties weren't listed and the 2 towns, it does say you have to have the abutters. And even if it's a town, you just put town of Troy, this property, this lot.
They question whether.
So how do you serve the town?
You didn't.
You, in the end, it wouldn't serve the town, but you have to put it on the
you didn't
abutter
put
list.
anything on.
Thank you.
Because then
Is it
that's,
legal abutters?
it's technically a legal abutter. And as I said, the one that you can play with is the 18 one, I would say, and like I said, that one I would go to court and say, you know, honestly,
If it was just the 18 one, it probably would have said.
But you're also saying hers and,
technically speaking, yes, the actual abutters, the two, have to put their name on it as well, and their address.
Again, the state law, it's repetitive and stupid, and we all, I agree that it is, but
Most
the
laws are that
applicant
way.
has to be has to pay to notify himself that he's filling out this application.
but you did that, didn't you?
Well, we got notified, so I mean.
That was because
Oh,
Abby
so
took
they
it
got
upon
that.
herself to
Okay, but
include.
they were, so then they're not really the missing abutters because she did.
She
Technically-
did.
They corrected
They
one.
still have to be on the application.
They still have to be on the application.
Mm,
So she corrected on her end,
I
but
see.
the application still doesn't have it. Also, when you fill out the application, if you don't put the actual address, that is also an incomplete application. And I didn't know about the address not being in there until I saw it right here, but it just says an app.
Because that just makes more work for the office.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to look up addresses, but.
I mean,
Which again could be a thing, you know, it could be here or there, you know, but she did it and she did send them out and she did include your guys's, but again, there were still other abutters that were missing, unfortunately. And again, this is one of those hard cases because as
we actually would have loved to have heard the case and
Yeah,
made you feel good about it, but
technically, the select board should not be passing out permits unless the land use board is giving them authorization to do so.
it doesn't matter.
You know,
Well,
this,
yes, it does, because we wouldn't need a planning board
So,
or a ZBA
okay,
if the
then
select board could just hand out
on what you just
permits.
said, Mr. Ferris needs to return his plan or his building permit as well. Because that was,
That's a whole different story. I was on the planning board
Unfortunately,
when
no,
they
it's not.
authorized that mill to be done with anything that they wanted to do down there, they could do. And that was all done through the planning board.
again, so the select board is done, how we do it is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We're not playing favorites on anything. Mr. Ferris has submitted all his information and even the state agreed with him. Once we submitted that, it was good. You know, his plans, they didn't go through the what the planning board wanted, and the planning board came to the ZBA, and the ZBA heard the case and agreed with the planning board, and then Mr. Ferris took it to court, and then the court, with the town agreeing with it, agreed with him, with Mr. Ferris.
To be clear, that site plan was approved, but.
I'm not arguing with that on that. I'm with you 100% on
understand.
that
And then
stuff.
the ZBA, the only thing in that site plan that really technically shouldn't have been approved originally was the landscape architect, which the ZBA
They removed that part.
right,
wait,
and then
wait,
the town voted it out. That was the only reason that permit was issued, was because that was removed, because other than that, the application currently was complete as well. Just for clarity,
Right, and like I said, it went back and forth,
But
and it's one of those things.
not allowed is a different animal. Is to, I don't know who was talking a second ago about this, because I was looking down, but
That's right.
when the ordinance says not allowed at all under any circumstance, that's different.
Correct. Now on some of these,
Again, I'm not arguing.
we're
Pass that
replacing
up.
other trailers that were removed.
On one of the permits, you're adding a whole new address, complete new site,
Correct.
after 96 and after 83 when it said no more allowed to be put in.
After we voted not to let any more be extended.
And that was a mistake on our
So
part, but we
you're gonna
can't.
take that back,
We
right?
can't.
If
Yes,
you
you
made a
can.
mistake.
Yes, you can.
If we take it back, he's gonna sue, and then
It doesn't
we go
matter.
to
It doesn't
Supreme
matter.
Court.
Who cares? Let them sue. At what
Right now,
point
they
does
can
the town say,
circumvent
you know
site
what,
plan
sue?
review
It's
of the
not in the
planning
best
board based on those
interest of the town.
permits.
Constantly afraid of getting sued. And we're hurting the town over and over, and it's not right. It's not. People make mistakes, fine, own it, let them sue. I don't love that, but you know what? I mean, I have to pay the taxes too, obviously not $1 million, but it feels like it to me.
They don't
You
pay
know?
that much on that property. Their owners of trailers pay most of the taxes on that property.
The ordinance said no more expansion of parks. You guys authorized it, so let them do
Well, the
fix that
selectmen,
part.
let's be fair, right? It was the
Selectmen, I'm talking to yeah, I meant him
Yeah,
as a selectman, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I wasn't,
Look at you.
whatever,
Let's
this is
prep
for
it
the
for Thursday's
selectmen's
meeting.
meeting, I'll, yeah,
So
it's
again,
not
that
a
was done when I first got on the board,
Mm-hmm.
and
I don't think we're not like pointing
I
fingers
wasn't
at
up
you
to
and saying you did
stuff
it.
on everything.
I get it, I just look at, I'm learning.
And that's the
from
hard
that.
part about a board of 3. 2 people to agree, then
Just go with it, yeah.
goes forward.
Right.
And that's, again, it's one of those hard things. With town politics, it's really sad. It's the same as people who are fighting over a well that one person has the rights to, the other one says, no, you don't, but on the deed they do. And it's like, at that point, the town can't get involved. We have to say, you gotta take it to court, because we can't get involved in that.
But
But
issuing
in that
an
instance, you
erroneous
issued a
permit.
permit.
Yeah,
In that
Right.
particular instance.
You got involved, I'm not saying
You
you
got involved.
person.
I mean, again, I actually don't have any skin in that game, but I'm aware
I
that it
understand.
happened. So you issued a permit, but now you can't get involved. I mean, that's, I assume what they're
on
doing.
that permit, it was to build a barn,
In a
what?
floodplain,
which
which is against your regulation, your ordinance.
but they had the plans from DES, they had approval from DES.
Doesn't matter. It's in your floodplain. It's local. You have control over that. You can't build in a floodplain. I mean,
You can,
again, I'm not,
you can build in a floodplain, but you gotta raise up, 3 to 5 feet
yeah,
higher
it's
than
like
the.
30
high
feet
water
from the
mark.
shore, whatever. I mean, again, it's,
But again, it's
Someone
another one of those
else's
things, it's,
But how did the permit get issued for an expansion when there was no more expansion?
There are 2 reasons,
Two select, there
depending
had to
on
be 2 selectmen.
which meeting minutes you read.
What, I'm sorry,
One-
what was that?
Said there
Yeah,
are 2
it had to
versions,
be
there are
2
2
Wait, you're
like,
both talking at the same time, sorry.
sorry, go ahead,
I
ladies
wanna hear
first.
from both of you, but
Let them blow it.
In answer to your question, there had to be 2 of the 3 selectmen, or all 3 selectmen, that voted yes to authorize that permit, and they all have to sign it.
But they're going against the ordinances.
They are, you're right.
and it's not the only thing that's gone against the ordinance from
and I'm
No,
any.
I know,
totally
right,
agree
but
with Fran.
that's what we were talking about
I'm not
earlier.
sitting in a
But also
comfortable
the
spot
planning
here.
board's gone against ordinances as well.
I'm sorry, what?
The planning board has gone against their own ordinance as well. It's
Me too, trust me.
because not everyone is up to every single ordinance. I mean, no one in this room can tell me they've read every single ordinance that this town has.
I'm not saying that,
I've
I know,
had
it's
my
just.
water
I can't even say-
on the
I've read through them all,
outside
I
back
still
of
don't
my
know.
garage
But you
where I
know,
don't see
they
it,
know
and
that
I
that
set
is a hot
$700 water
topic,
bill.
and they know that the town had just voted
I had all
on it,
my
and then
No,
they.
see,
brand new planted flowers
just
and
voted on
bushes
one
cut
thing.
off.
That part, those, the previous ones, the 5,
Oh, yeah, it's
They
got
need to be
blast.
fixed.
2022.
I know, but they keep renewing them, and so
That
that the one that got renewed
doesn't matter.
for the expansion in 2023 should not have been renewed.
Okay.
As it was
I'd
published
like
on the
to-
town
I'd like to
website.
close the meeting. If you wanna talk, it'll be outside of the
Okay.
meeting, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay?
close it up.
So we're gonna adjourn the meeting. It's adjourned. I wanna give you time to blow off